Okay, how this video is going to go is I'm recording this technical explanation bit after the real-time drawing narration that I recorded before to give better words to concepts I said in there, and I'm putting this before that despite the chronological discontinuity, because if people are just interested in like the conceptual ideas and not me being a silly goose, you can bail after this part. Okay, here we go. So we have a color wheel here. That's what it looks like. It's a tool that will help us. So right now I'm color picking some kind of green. I like to think of atmospheric colors and how things are going to reflect on each other. It's more extreme than it would be in real life, but let's say we got some kind of green background here, and then we have an object that's white. But because there's green all around it, that white might be shifted more towards yellow instead of being pure white. So we have this guy. And then back on the color wheel, so green is right here. And then yellow is here. They're very close in range, and so yeah. I don't have any more realistic explanation for it because it's not really entirely all that realistic. It's more based on the principles of just painting in real life. And so for shading this, I might go more towards this blue range and make it a darker color so it kind of blends in with that. And then go back towards the green to fade it towards the yellowy color of the white, because it's like painting in real life. Like if you have this sort of teal blue color, that's more in this range, but if you have something that's about right there and you mix it with that white yellow color that's going to be in this range, then it's going to be more green. And so this color is a bit more green. And I might add just darker yellow colors too. Like, look, this is warm. And sort of create the gradation of values, because you can really mix any two colors in the color wheel you want. Like, let's take this bright pink and let's take a kind of darkish green. If you take that dark green, it's going to be about right here, and this pink is going to be right there. You can just kind of manually gradate it by going, okay, I'm gonna make this green a little bit lighter so it starts getting closer to that yellow, just closer to the pink, and just kind of slowly make your colors like more desaturated, lighter, darker, whatever. Like that orange is too dark to look more smooth, so you can make that lighter, and then suddenly the colors aren't that distinguishable, even though it's way over here when that green is over here. And then you can take that orange, make it red, make that a little bit lighter maybe, and then start getting more saturated as you try to get into this pink. And yeah, it's not a perfect gradient, but it's stuff like that. It's about thinking about stuff that's exists in the space it's in, as opposed to something like throwing a multiply layer on it, which works too. Like I could take let me draw this shape again. Let me draw this guy and then clip multiply to it, make that green. Let's make him several colors, let's make him stripy so it illustrates the sort of multiply deal. And that's all well and good, but when I do patterns, I also kind of just like to paint it in more. So like this part's going to be lighter, so that stripe's going to be lighter. It's about here on the color wheel. And then I'm going to make it darker and more green as it gets into the shadow, because it's going to be affected by the reflective lighting. And so yeah, that's my conceptual base nonsense. After this is just going to be me narrating losing my train of thought. I say fresh and cool a little bit too much, and that's gonna be the real time me. Okay, thank you. Also, I forgot to say, sometimes I totally disregard local color if I just want to make a picture with whatever colors I want and think about values instead. Okay. Hi, I'm gonna color this picture because people ask me how I color, and I tried to make a video about this before, but it wasn't very good. So I'm doing this now. Also, this isn't a tutorial because I think that's bullshit and I don't care about that. I'm just here to talk about colors. So first off, we got a guy. It literally doesn't matter. You'll learn who he is later, maybe. Probably. So what I'm doing here, I like to think about atmospheric colors. This guy, he is blue, kind of. He's all sorts of fucking colors. But he's blue, so I'm setting down like orangey, yellow, whatever. So we got that. That's cool. You're not drawing him? I am. Okay, so he's blue. So, but he's in this like orangey light, so I'm actually gonna make him slightly green because that's how the colors mix on the color wheel. Yeah, you get it. You might notice I'm not zoomed in very far. It's because I don't like to zoom in because it fucks me up real bad. Unless I'm doing small stuff. So that's cool. So we got this segment already kind of blocked in. I'm gonna zoom in a little now. And I'm doing this all in one layer also. I went a little bit more blue, and I'm going down. I'm thinking, okay, this part's gonna be in shadow and it's gonna mingle with his bow tie is red, so I could shift it even more green, orange range. Yeah. You get what I'm saying, and I kind of make a slight gradient with that. It's hard to explain. It's like, okay, that somehow blends even though that's green and this is clearly brown. I'm probably gonna add blue in there too, just so it's more interesting all the way in there, as well as start shifting a little more blue around in here just so it's not one solid brick of color, because that's fun, it's cool, it's fresh. It's a good birthday party trick, and you can do it. And there's also this sort of yellow lighting to match this. I think I'm gonna make him kind of backlit actually. So I'm gonna go with a darker, more blue color. Kind of like that. He looks scary now. We're gonna get his toothpaste hair. It's real cool. And then fade that out. I'm choosing more greens here just to... It's hard to explain it, so it's very, I guess, automatic in my brain, not trying to be like, yeah, I'm a fucking genius, I know everything about colors and color theory, because I think that's made up. But just that... I don't know if you heard that, my cat's messing around in my room. But it's kind of like, this color is shifting more towards the yellow of that sort of background color again. This green. It's very, I guess it's based on mixing stuff from the color wheel. It's very much like physical painting, except not, because I'm scribbling on a computer. His pupil eyes are white, so I'm gonna make them a yellowy color. Same with his teeth. Look at his smile, he's so fucking happy. And then I'm gonna clean up these edges. And so here, there's a bunch of colors. There's the green, there's the yellowy, there's blue from this back. There's that little bit of bright blue, right where his neck connects to his body and is going behind that bow tie, which I'm gonna color next. As well as his weird rubber gloves. I don't like that. I want that to be more pink, actually. Yeah, I like that. I also, see, I change colors on the fly all the time because that's how it goes. And it ends up layering because instead of erasing, I just draw it on top of each other and it kind of looks cool sometimes. So I got that, and because this is backlit, I'm gonna shift more towards purple and blue again in these areas that are gonna be all folded up on each other. And not facing the light, and it happens. And then back to more red, the local color, as we get towards the edges that are gonna be lit up, and like highlights, because if this is a rubber glove, it's gonna be shiny as fuck. It's gonna be cool, it's gonna be fresh. And then the top part of his suit is green, so I'm gonna make that yellower. It's a dark green, so I'm gonna make that yellower. I'm also gonna go back in and fucking color his shirt, that's pink. But, so we got this yellower, once again thinking about this shit in the background. As opposed to like, I guess a more foresty... I don't like color names very much. Forest green. And any forest, there's different kind. Forests are different greens. You understand. Trees are different. But anyway, so I'm gonna go more blue again. A lot of people are like, don't ever fucking shade with these saturated colors or you're going to hell. I think that's bullshit. I think they can look cool. Like this is almost gray that I'm going with here. It looks green because it is, but our brains are very good at implying things, and I think that's how I function a lot. I'm gonna add highlights back in here with just a lighter version of this same green gray. So it's like, look, his suit is fucking baggy. But how I like to think about colors is our brains are good at implying and like blending stuff better a lot more automatically than artists who like render everything out do. Like I'm trying to think of a better way to word this. It's like our brain can do some of that work. And so I like to do that and function off like, I guess it's impressionism-y? I don't know art history very much because I don't care about it. But here we go. I'm gonna go a lot more yellow with this just to add that like rim lighting. That's pretty much the same color as the background, but that's fine. I kind of like that. I'm gonna add that same color on the edge of the bow tie and even on his disgusting fucking head. But here we go. I'm gonna color the polka dots now. They're a lighter green. I'm gonna make those more yellow because yellow is a lighter value than green. And this isn't yellow. I'm shifting it towards yellow. I guess I should be more clear about that. Jesus Christ. So I also render shit out as I go along just because that's what makes the most sense to me. Because then, okay, if I have this, then it's like, okay, see, there's like that cooler color right in the middle of the bow that's also kind of reflecting back up on his neck with that very tiny spot of bright blue right there. And whatever else, you know, it's relational is the word. So we got his dots. I'm gonna make these ones darker because they're not gonna be lit up because they're... Yeah, you get it. You know how lighting works. We all know how lighting works. And even if you don't, it doesn't fucking matter because you're making a picture and that's awesome. That was corny, I'm sorry. Trying to get his other glove here. I'm gonna make that actually shifted more towards the yellow because it's in his back, so it's like that atmospheric... What's it called? It's like how air isn't invisible, like how shit fades out into the distance. You know, I don't know the word for it. I'm sure there's a million. But that exists. And I'm also gonna bring that color back into the most parts that are gonna get that ambient occlusion light reflection type shit. I'm gonna make the part of his suit that flares out and looks like a bell blue, but pretty desaturated, so it mixes in with that desaturated green. And this dude's pants are yellow. I'm gonna make them... The background is a more orangey yellow, and this one I'm gonna make his pants just straight up yellow. I'm gonna make them darker or lighter, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna have them be this color that's barely distinguishable. And so we got that. I'm gonna shift that way orange. I'm gonna make that our shadow where that bell shape is just gonna destroy that. And then I'm gonna make it green with the actual like backlight type lighting. Just There's no reason for that. I have no excuse for it. I just like it. You know, sometimes I know this is so much rambling nonsense, but basically I kind of just I use a lot of different slight variations of the same color. Like this is red, but I'm gonna put up pictures of the color wheel and shit. That's a reminder to myself. So we have this. I'm gonna go with a little more green so it's like even cooler right here. And I'm going to add just a light outline, ridge, highlight, whatever, just to distinguish that from the background a little bit better. And also add darker, more green values into the shadow. And his pants have like a plaid type pattern on them. I kind of just draw like this. And this is all the same color. I might go in and like make some of it look a little bit lighter and more yellow orange to match that, but it's patterns. I might go and take these green parts that are in shadow and redraw over them. So it's like, oh yeah, okay, it's matching, it makes sense, I get it. It makes so much fucking sense now. I'm also gonna take some of that green and reflect that around back in there. And I started doing this because I liked it in fucking Steve Purcell's art. In a lot of his paintings, he will outline figures and stuff just slightly, even though it's painting. It's a really cool effect. I like it. It also, I think in this case, it kind of enhances the backlight thing. It's like diffusion of whatever, you know. But that's my coloring. I also don't zoom in a lot, but here's my guy. Also, my final tip and trick. Usually I don't like using layer modes to kind of make things like, I am not into the shit where people will like just make a really bright overlay layer and do this. Like some people love it and that's awesome. I cannot stand doing this, but there's the difference layer mode that makes shit weird. And I am a big fan of it. This is it at a bright color at full saturation. I'll either turn that way down if I really like it. This is me hue shifting it. Like, I like that. And this layer is like an aqua color. Let me put it back on normal. It's like this. I'm gonna make it darker. The brightness. And then I'm gonna set it back to difference, and that changes it, makes it all kind of red. I'm actually not feeling it for this drawing. But you can do that if you like, you know, to fuck shit up. It's cool. It's fresh. It's a good, you know, have fun. Be safe. And that's my and that's my coloring. Thank you.